Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about players that you can add to your team to help you finish off your week, help you come out with that win, help you really seal the deal if you're winning, or catch up a little bit if you're losing. The first part of this video is going to be for pretty much all leagues. Going to be talking about guys that you can add to your team to get you some points. And then I'm going to talk about some goalies, and then I'm going to talk more for categories leagues and talk about guys that you could add to your team for each individual category. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We just hit 1,800 subscribers, and I'd like to hit 2,000 really soon, so thanks for your support, guys. Without further ado, let's jump right into the content. And for this weekend, for Saturday and Sunday, there are 3 teams that play both Saturday and Sunday. So adding players from those teams can definitely help, although you're going to have to check and see if you have room in your lineup for forwards on Saturday, because Saturday is a pretty busy night. Those 3 teams are Los Angeles, Montreal, and New Jersey. So now jumping into some forwards that play both Saturday and Sunday, if you have room in your lineup on Saturday, these guys could definitely help you get some points. And these forwards are ranked in order of the order that I would personally take them, in terms of their likeliness to get you some points. And the first guy is Victor Arvidsson, just over 50% owned. And if he is available in your league, he's someone that could definitely help you get some points this weekend because his matchups are pretty juicy against Buffalo and Montreal this weekend. Same thing goes with Dustin Brown. Both these guys are playing top line with Anze Kopitar, top power play with Anze Kopitar. They have every opportunity to get points. Next, I have Pavel Zacha, who is playing second line on New Jersey, but top power play, and he's been producing, been doing quite well this year. Don't mind Pavel Zacha if you need a little bit of extra help this weekend. Next, I have Mike Hoffman of the Montreal Canadiens. The Habs have not been good, but Hoffman has scored in consecutive games, so at least he's been kind of a bright spot for Montreal. If you're desperate, he's someone that you can add. Next is Nico Hischier of the New Jersey Devils, centering the top line with Sharangovich and Kuokkanen. I don't mind that. He's also getting top power play time, so he's someone that could definitely help you this weekend. Next, I have Brendan Gallagher, and he has not been good this year. The Montreal Canadiens in general have not been good, though. Gallagher is getting a decent opportunity on a pretty good line, so if you need to add someone and you're desperate, well, Brendan Gallagher, you could do a lot worse than that. Next is Jonathan Drouin, who has 5 points in 7 games for Montreal. Montreal has not been good, but Drouin's probably been their best player. So if you need someone, and he doesn't put a whole lot of peripherals up, so it's not really a safe floor, but if you're really desperate for points, Drouin is someone that may be able to provide some. Next, I have Tomas Tatar, who's playing second line on New Jersey. Doesn't have the best line mates, but Zacha is doing really well right now, and Tatar also gets some top power play time, which is quite nice. Next is Yegor Sharangovich, and he's quite a good player. Unfortunately, Jack Hughes is injured, so he's playing top line with Hischier. He's not getting top power play time, but he is quite a talented player. So if nobody else above him is available, Sharangovich still makes for a decent pickup. Next, I have Alex Iafallo, and he's on the second line in LA, which isn't anything special, but at least he's getting top power play time right now, which gives him a little bit of value. Don't mind Alex Iafallo, especially with the matchups that LA has this weekend. And last but not least, I have Christian Dvorak of the Montreal Canadiens playing on a line with Josh Anderson and Jonathan Drouin. Hasn't been as great as a lot of people would have hoped, but if the Habs can turn things around a little bit this weekend, Christian Dvorak should be able to put up a point or two. All right, so what if you don't have room in your roster for a forward on Saturday? All right, so let's look at forwards who only play on Sunday. So you could pick up guys that I just mentioned, or you could look at some of these guys. The first guy that I would pick up is Jared McCann. McCann has 7 points in 7 games. I have no idea why he's not over 50% rostered. This guy has been Seattle's best player so far, and if you need someone, he's pretty much guaranteed to get you a point at this point because the dude is going at a point per game pace. Next, I have Boone Jenner, who's getting top line and top power play time for Columbus, and he's doing very well. Don't mind Boone Jenner as an ad. Next, I have Victor Olofsson, and the surprising Buffalo Sabres are off to a decent start, and Olofsson is a big part of that. He's playing with Tage Thompson on their first or second line, whatever you want to call that line. He's also getting top power play time, so Victor Olofsson is definitely good for someone to stream this weekend. Next is Yanni Gourde of the Seattle Kraken, and through 3 games since he's come back from injury, he has 3 points, which is pretty good. He's centering what could be considered the top line in Seattle, also getting a lot of top power play time. Gourde is someone who can definitely get you a point or two on Sunday. Next is Trevor Zegras, who seems to finally be turning things around a little bit for Anaheim. He's getting top line, top power play time, so he's definitely someone who could put up a point or two. Raquel is someone also on the Ducks who's getting top line and top power play time. Don't mind Raquel at all as an ad. Next is Brandon Tanev of the Seattle Kraken playing on the same line as Jared McCann, and Tanev's actually getting a decent amount of power play time as well. Tanev has been balling out. He's been scoring goals. He's one of the NHL's leading goal scorers right now, and he's been just great offensively on top of his already big hitting upside. Next is Clayton Keller of the Arizona Coyotes, and no, I don't love really anybody on the Coyotes, but if I had to choose someone who's going to score a point on Sunday, I would choose Clayton Keller. Next, I have Jordan Staal of the Carolina Hurricanes. He's centering the third line with Niederreiter and Foss, which is not the greatest third line in the world, but he's getting some PP2 time, which isn't terrible, and he's actually been playing pretty well. Next, I have Tage Thompson of the Buffalo Sabres, who's been having a really sneakily good season. He's been shooting the puck a lot. He's getting top power play time, and he's been producing. So at 2% owned, if everybody else above that I mentioned is already rostered, Tage Thompson actually makes for a decent pickup if you need some points. Next, I have Jesperi Kotkaniemi of the Carolina Hurricanes. He's playing second line with Trocheck. It's not the worst deployment in the world. He hasn't been that great, though, so I would only pick him up if everybody else that I already mentioned is already taken. Next, I have Kaapo Kakko of the Rangers, and he's been injured for a good part of the season. But honestly, I'm not super high on him, but he does play with Panarin and Ryan Strome, so there's definitely some potential there to put up some points. Jumping into some defensemen now, and these are defensemen that play both Saturday and Sunday because odds are you got room for defensemen on both Saturday and Sunday in your lineup. And first is my MANSCAPED must-add player of the video, Matt Roy. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code word FANTASYTIPPED at manscaped.com. Guys, that's 20% off your order and free shipping with the code word FANTASYTIPPED at manscaped.com. So do me a favor, guys, and head over to manscaped.com and get yourself something nice. Use the code word FANTASYTIPPED. Would really appreciate it, guys. Now, why is Matt Roy my Manscaped must-add of the video? Well, Drew Doughty is confirmed out of the lineup in LA for 8 weeks. What does that mean? Matt Roy is taking over Power Play 1 in Los Angeles, and this dude's only owned in 1% of leagues. He got a really big amount of ice time in their last game, and I think he's going to continue to see a really large amount of ice time and that top power play time, which is very, very valuable. I like this guy to put up some points this weekend and moving on in the future. Next, I have Damon Severson of the New Jersey Devils, who's seeing some power play 2 time, but he's performing pretty good in the few games that he's played since coming back from his injury. Don't mind Damon Severson as someone who could potentially get you a point or 2 this weekend. Next, I have Sami Niku of the Montreal Canadiens, who's seeing a large amount of power play time for Montreal, so he's also someone that could help you out this weekend. Next, I have Alexander Edler, who's seeing some PP2 time, and LA is never the worst pickup in the world if you're desperate for points. Next, I have Ty Smith, who's getting PP2 time in New Jersey. Really not my favorite option, but if you're desperate and there's nobody else, Ty Smith is someone that you can consider. Jumping in some goalies, I'll go over this section very quickly. In LA, you got Cal Peterson and Jonathan Quick. They're going to split the games on Saturday and Sunday. Same thing with Montreal, Jake Allen and Montembeault. One of them is going to play Saturday, one of them is going to play Sunday. Craig Anderson should play on Sunday. Buffalo does play Sunday against LA. Don't mind starting Craig Anderson since Buffalo's been quite hot. Karel Vejmelka for Arizona is their starting goalie right now as Carter Hutton is injured. So if you're really desperate, you have to be really desperate to start an Arizona goalie. But if you are, he's someone that you could consider. Next is Joey Decord of the Seattle Kraken. Seattle has a back-to-back Sunday and Monday, so Decord is going to start either Sunday or Monday. I'm not super optimistic that he's going to start the first of the back-to-backs, but if you really are desperate, he's someone you can consider. And last, I have Antti Ranta. He is facing his former team in the Arizona Coyotes, and they may want to rest Frederik Andersen. So if they do want to do that, Ranta is someone that may get the start on Sunday. Now moving on to the part of the video that's designated for categories leagues. If you need a win your shots category, you're behind by a little bit, or you want to make sure that you keep your lead in the shots category, these are the guys that you can consider adding. Any guy that has their logo in green plays both Saturday and Sundays. So if you have room for a player on both Saturday and Sunday, I would strongly consider grabbing someone from a team that's in green here because you will get 2 games out of them instead of just 1. Now, if you need some blocks, there's not that many guys that are going to get you a lot of blocks, right? Blocks are not something that you can predict that well, but these are the guys that will most likely get you the most blocks. Adam Larsson only plays on Sunday, but he can get you a couple blocks per game. He's someone who's quite reliable for that. Same thing with Alex Edler, should get you a couple of blocks per game and plays both Saturday and Sunday. So he's probably the best guy to add if you have room in your lineup both Saturday and Sunday. Jacob Trouba is someone who only plays on Sunday, but he's a really great shot blocker as well. And then if you're desperate, Sherratt and David Savard are guys who could potentially block a couple of shots per game and play both Saturday and Sunday. Moving on to hits, and obviously number one is going to be Brandon Tanev, right? That's his bread and butter. This guy hits like crazy. He's been hitting a little bit less than Ryan Reeves so far, but he is my number one pick because the dude could also score some points. Ryan Reeves is my next pick. He's been hitting over 4 times a game so far, which is excellent. Trouba's been hitting 3 times a game. Josh Anderson, just about 3 times a game as well. Adam Larson, great for both those blocks and those hits if you need both categories, but again, he only plays on Sunday, whereas Josh Anderson, Alex Romanov, and Matt Hoa on this list all play both Saturday and Sunday. And last but not least, if you need some face-off wins, Christian Dvorak is the guy that you're going to want to go for. Right now, he's 20% owned, and he can also slot in as a left wing. So if that's something you need, you can have 3 centers in your lineup that are all getting you face-off wins if you throw Dvorak in as your left winger. And the great thing is he plays both Saturday and Sunday, so he should get you a good amount of wins both days. Michael McLeod, Nico Hischier, and Philip Danault are also guys that you can consider if you need face-off wins both Saturday and Sunday. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Hope you enjoyed the content. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.